Hello, and we're back with more Great Lakes Cup Series action here today at Atlanta with the Great Lakes Cup Series brought to you by Butt Kicker. I'm joined by Alex in the booth, and we have a guest analyst today, Eric Kepf. How are you doing, Eric?
Yeah, good guys. Good to be here.
This is your first broadcast. Are you looking forward to it, Eric?
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We got Gavin stepping out of the booth, and that left room for somebody else in the booth. So I'm glad to be able to fill the vacant spot here.
Happy Canada Day to all the viewers out there, by the way. We're going to be doing 125 laps around Atlanta Motor Speedway today. It should be a lot of fun, a lot of racing. I expect to see a lot of strategy out there as well today. What do you think is going to happen out there today, Alex?
Yeah, I believe there's going to be a lot of interesting things going back and forth today. As long as it stays green for a good amount of time, we'll be looking to see drivers saving tires, maybe falling back some, trying to drive forward, as these cars are extremely difficult to drive today around this track. Nice hot racetrack at 122 degrees is going to leave these drivers on the edge today.
Should be a lot of fun. Atlanta always gets slippery and slidey with those high temperatures and the sun beaming down on the racetrack. So this should be a lot of fun as they're about to get started here soon. Looks like our pole sitter is going to be Phil Bedford. Great lap from him. We're going to give you your starting lineup here in a moment. But we're going to do a little bit of storylines for you real quick. RJ Williams, last week's victory at Phoenix. Very impressive win from him. A very great race, mainly dominated by Christopher Heller, who is your points leader coming into today. And then you have to wonder about Nathan Nicholson and Ashton Lawson, wondering if anything is going to happen from what happened last week. Actually, it looks like Ashton is actually not in this race, so my bad on that. This should be a lot of fun as the pace car is about to take off. Sounds like they're finishing up the drivers' meeting right now.
Yeah, Kyle, what we're going to be looking at today after the drivers last week suffered for a long time under a 15 cautions, the most in Great Lakes Cup Series history. These drivers are going to be looking to have a cleaner race today and likely will be going into the race with that in mind.
I expect definitely a cleaner race this week. I don't expect 15 cautions. This is Atlanta, not that short track feel that you get with Phoenix. Atlanta more of a widespread racetrack, a multi-groove racetrack, especially with the dynamic track added in. So this should be a lot of fun. Any idea on the pit strategy for today, Alex? You know what the pit window is?
I believe it's 40 to 45 laps. So if you can survive on tires for that long, that's how long these drivers will be going for until they come into the pit stop.
I want to hear from Eric. Eric, who do you think is a big competitor here today? Who are you looking for to win today?
Well, I mean, you have RJ Williams. He was the winner of this race last season, so you always have to look at him. But just this season, we've just seen the 2511 drivers in the Cup Series definitely show a lot of dominance. You had, Brandon and Heller, at Daytona, they were up front. Heller obviously won that race, and then you had Nathan Nicholson won at the Daytona Road Course. So, and then you have another one on the pole today with Phil Bedford. So I'm going to see if 2511 can continue their dominance and winning streak today.
Thank you, Eric. I love your insight. Me and Alex are gonna go through the lineup real quick for y'all. On the pole is Phil Bedford on the inside. On the outside is Josh Cottle, last week's pole winner.
Following them in the second row is Elliot Henderson on the inside, quick in practice, and on the outside is Brandon Barkuski.
Row number 3, last week's winner. We told you about him, RJ Williams. And on the outside, Spencer Dickinson.
Following them in the fourth row, Jacob Bransky will come in 7th, and Seth Harrelson will be starting 8th.
In the next row, you have Jordan Gonzalez and Tyler Lateral.
Behind them will be Merrick Watchhorn and Ty Aiken in 11th and 12th.
The next row, you have Matt Daniels and Lewis Woodall.
Don't forget Giloa Hankins in 15th and May Cruz in 16th.
In 17th, you have Austin Moore looking to turn around his season. And then on the outside, you have our points leader, Christopher Heller, starting in the back in 18th.
Couple of good drivers back in the field here with William Barblagata and Drew Cox in 19th and 20th.
And the next row, you have Charles Wimbley on the inside and Brandon White up high.
And rounding out our qualifiers is Jacob Hayes and Nick Martin in 23rd and 24th.
And then the three drivers who didn't make a qualifying attempt, starting 25th, 26th, and 27th, is Zachary Henry, Nathan Nicholson, and Aaron Duclos. As the pace car is about to pull off, we're going to go green flag racing as the lights are out on the pace car, about to come off turn 4.
This will be where these drivers are going to be looking for positions as early in the race when these tires still have grip. So Kyle, lead them off to the green flag.
And here comes Bedford down, and he's going to lead him to the green flag. Great start for Bedford, already out to a car length and a half lead. Barkuski not too far behind. Josh Cottle going to jump into the second spot. Elliot Henderson right behind. I'm going to try to get in front of Barkowski off the turn. Elliot Henderson puts it in there. Brandon looked like he gave him some space there. Elliot Henderson up high, making the move on Cottle. He's going to clear him out of 4. Bedford's gotten off to a fantastic start in the number 20 machine. He's had a difficult start to the season, so he's really turning it around early here today.
Interesting to note that Bedford did pick the high lane when he started that race there. So we're going to see if that is a continuing factor this race, if people on restarts are going to pick the high line on the restart.
Yeah, we saw a lot of switching of the lanes on Tuesday night for the trucks. Very interested to see if the high lane or the line lane will be the preferred choice on restarts. Great point, Eric.
Well, typically in real life, we see that the drivers will pick the outside lane as it seems the bottom lane seems to lack grip on the restart. So we'll see if that transfers into the sim as drivers will try both lanes, I imagine, as this race goes on.
And the top 6 or 7 cars begin to single out, but around 10th place, it's like a hornet's nest right there. These guys are battling hard. I see Spencer Dickinson in there, and then you see the number 23 as well of Tyler Lateral. A lot of good drivers in there. Seth Harrelson as well.
It looks like Josh Cottle has done a little bit of a fallback here. He might be doing that saving tire strategy, and he might be coming up later in the run here.
We have very good point, Eric. Very similar thing that I think he did last week at Phoenix. I'm not sure if it didn't really work out for him as well last week at Phoenix. He fell to the back, and it was hard for him to get back to the front. Let's see if it works out for him today, trying to save tires early on this run, as we expect long green flag runs here today at Atlanta. Tripping over my words there.
There, 3 wide there. Got Ty Aiken on the bottom in that Jeff Burton throwback scheme there.
Drivers
Great
are
move.
getting sketchy. Oh, is he going to save it?
Lewis doing everything he can to save it in that Pepsi machine, but he keeps it straight. Great job.
Lewis Woodall with a fantastic save on the apron of the racetrack. I thought he was gone.
Yeah, I thought that car was a goner, but this first start in the GLCS Series for Lewis Woodall here for Defiance Racing.
Not quite the starter he wanted, but he's able to gather it up and keep it straight, and no damage to the 13 machine, it looks like. Oh, and there's a
driver in the wall.
4 watch horn. Big
Wreck.
pile up.
Oh, Kyle, that's a big wreck in turn 3.
Oh, that's a good number of cars there.
Looks like your points leader, Christopher Heller, was involved in that as well. Barbara Gelada, a.k.a. Mr. Excitement. A lot of good drivers involved in that accident. Merrick Watchhorn is very upset over the radio. It looked like Merrick just got turned on the straightaway. I'll have to take another look at that to confirm it, but that was insanity this early in the race.
Yeah, you're definitely going to have a few drivers that are damaged beyond having a good run for the rest of the race here. So let's see if we can find a replay here of what happened.
Christopher Heller, definitely disappointed to see your points leader with a lot of damage early. A lot of bumper damage to that machine. Not sure how bad that will affect him. There's definitely some cars with worse damage than that. So we're going to take a look at the replay here. They're coming off 2 here. Actually, turn 4. Another half a lap till we get to the incident. Cottle, you see right there. You see Harrelson. You see Watchhorn. Let's see what happens here. Looks like Aiken and Harrelson. Harrelson just looks like he just turns into Watchhorn, it looks like from my angle. And just a big pile up from behind him. A lot of destroyed race cars. I think I saw Jordan Gonzalez in that as well. Jordan Gonzalez has not caught a break yet this season as well. Been involved in a lot of accidents.
Yeah, it's just tough when you're running so close together early on in the race here. When one person makes a mistake, it looks like maybe Seth Harrelson may not have known that Merrick was on the outside of him and just pushed him into the wall, and that just kind of started an accordion effect down the backstretch going into turn number 3.
Most definitely.
Yeah, it looks like from the point of view going halfway down the backstretch, Seth was actually clear of Merrick, and Merrick had a massive run going down the backstretch. So sadly, this is going to take out a lot of drivers here, a lot of really good front-running contenders that we thought would be here early in the race already with a ton of damage. That's a big hit of confidence to Seth Harrelson, as that little mistake is going to be critiqued heavily by the other drivers.
I would love to see an in-car from Wembley, but we're going to look at Heller first. Christopher Heller, our points leader. Let's see what happens here for our points leader, see how he got involved in this accident. As you see him on the high side of Gonzalez right here. Gonzalez was a big part of that accident as well, got a good amount of damage. Just couldn't really see in front of him, tried to avoid it at the last second, but Barbagelado was right there, couldn't avoid him, and got not nearly as bad damage as a lot of these guys, but got a good amount of damage. Had a number 11 machine on the bumper at least.
Yeah, I think Chris might be okay with as far as damage goes. We're on board with Charles Wembley right now.
Yeah, Charles Wembley. I saw him going flying into the accident right here and just flies into the door right there. Looking at another angle at the accident here. See Watchhorn coming up on the outside. As Alex said, Harrelson was clear, but might have not noticed that Watchhorn had gotten to his outside and turned right, and and the rest is history. A lot of drivers' days are done at this point. Very disappointing for a lot of these guys.
Kyle, we're heading to the restart. Green flag for Phil Bedford. He gets a good jump again on Elliot Henderson. Elliot Henderson's going to have RJ Williams up on his inside, but he is going to receive a push from Jacob Bransky in the 03. However, he's still not clear. Oh, and then he just barely gets clear coming out of turn 2. They're starting to try and single file out. Barkuski is going to try and race Bransky down the backstretch going into turn 3.
Yeah, my bad about that, Alex. I was too busy picking apart this replay. Wasn't paying attention to the restart, but Bedford got off to a great restart there. Elliot Henderson right behind him, and RJ Williams trying to get 2 in a row. Looking strong here early, making up spots.
And interesting, Bedford did take the bottom lane there on the restart, so I don't know who was behind him there, but he chose the bottom line this time.
Bedford there most likely just trying out, seeing what he can do from the lead. It's early in the race. He has the lead. Might as well use it up, but Elliot's right there. Elliot's putting a lot of pressure on him. Elliot Henderson was the quickest in practice, so I would expect him to be a big threat for the win today.
You see RJ Williams in third in that windshield deep Ford. He is always a contender in these cup races, so he will always be up front there. Let's see if he can put some pressure on Elliot and Bedford going forward here.
Right now, Elliot's going to be looking to get in front of Phil Bedford, as these cars, the king of the race is the one with the clean air. So Elliot Henderson's going to be looking for any of that possible to try and get by Bedford. We'll see if RJ can capitalize, if Elliot can get side by side with him. But for the moment, they're single file. But I imagine just trying to preserve tires.
Yeah, from what I've learned from Elliot already, is he's one of those drivers that likes the longer runs. He likes to save his tires. So the longer this run goes, I think Elliot Henderson's even more of a threat to take the lead as RJ Williams dives low for second. Looking at the battle for Duclos and them back there. RJ Williams and Elliot Henderson getting real close off the corner there. Henderson's going to get the run off the corner and keep the spot for now, but RJ Williams is fighting back on the low side.
Yeah, I was speaking to Elliott before the race, and he was pretty confident in the high side ability there to hold off people on the inside. So I don't think he's too upset that RJ's looking on the inside of him here. He preferred the outside lane as far as defending a position or making passes here. But now you have Jacob Bransky pulling on the outside and taking over third position here.
These guys are about to approach a lap car, by the way. It's the lap car of Jacob Hayes of the number 9 machine. A lot of nose damage to that machine. You see him right there on your screen, not too far in front of Bedford. So this might get interesting as they're battling hard for that top 5 spot.
Yeah, RJ gave a big block to Barkuski there down the front straight. He did not want him up on his inside after he got trained around the outside. He's going to luckily slot there in the 4th position and get back in line. Although he's immediately going to go after Bransky once again, still desperately trying to get towards the front of this field. I mean, he's already tried it once. He fell back. I personally would not try and keep doing it. I'd say try and save the tires and try and take it on later in the run. But now Bransky comes up as on the inside of Henderson.
Bransky looking pretty strong right now, trying to get past Henderson. I'd like to make a little note. You see that pink car down there? Nathan Nicholson, he's already moved up 19 spots. He is flying through the field. I've been keeping my eye on him. He might be a big threat for this win before this day is over.
Yeah, Nathan did not put down a time in qualifying, so he did start towards the tail end of the field, and like you said, he was far back enough. He did miss that big wreck we just had, and now he's obviously running pretty well at 7th position right now in the top 10. So let's see how his day progresses here. Still have a long time to go.
And they're 3 wide, you saw there. Very hard racing between Barkuski and Bransky and Aiken and RJ Williams. All these guys are going after it right now. Bedford just looking in the rear view, seeing these guys battle. He couldn't be more happier. As you see Barkuski going to make the move on Bransky once again, trying to take away that 4th spot. Pushes up in the corner a little bit.
You have Nathan Nicholson and Tyke, and right behind him, just waiting to see what's going to shake out here between these guys.
Nicholson looking for somewhere to go. There's no space right now. I feel like it's a little too early to be doing 3 wide, but they were doing that just 2 laps ago, so who am I to say that? Inboard with Nathan Nicholson. He's making a huge run, trying to get to 20 gained spots already.
Now, Kyle, I'm trying to see, waiting for the moment when a driver takes it up to the top side, trying to look to get the clean air, try and drive by people with the momentum. I'm looking to see when that change happens. It will happen, as we've already seen the drivers, most of them move up to the middle of the racetrack in the middle of this run. I'm looking to see when they start to get to the top and we get some awesome racing, top side, low side, middle side. It'll get exciting here soon.
Yeah, there you see Elliott moving up to that top lane right there off the corner. You do get a better run off of the corner on the top side, so let's see if he can carry that into turn number 3. Nope, looks like they're going to stay single file here, but again, Elliott goes to a much higher lane than Phil and RJ do.
Yeah, I definitely expect that high lane to come in the longer we run. Elliott Henderson is waiting for that moment the high lane kicks in, because he has been the only guy really trying it lap after lap after lap, waiting for it to work. RJ Williams going to make the pass for 2nd, and Bransky's trying to take over 3rd from Elliott.
One thing I've noticed is a trend with this racetrack. It seems to be the high side of 1 and 2 is much more effective than the high side of 3 and 4. As in some of my own races at Atlanta, I've noticed where I'd run the high side in 1 and 2 and then run the low or middle side in 3 and 4. Any driver who's willing to try that high side, I mean, looking to see if they try and do that as well.
A lot of races at Atlanta have been won from the high side in 3 and 4, so whoever's willing to try it might be able to make it work. Getting a good battle here for 5th. Barkuski keeps on peeking his nose underneath Aiken, trying to get himself into the top 5. Bransky really making that high lane work through 3 and 4 right now. Looking strong in that 03.
Bransky is going to get around Elliott, I think, going into turn number 1 here.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Bransky making that high lane work. An interesting line through 3 and 4 that last time around. Interested to see if he'll do that again because he gained a lot of time doing that. Yep, he's gonna take the line.
Elliot Henderson's not exactly happy as he just got trained by 3 cars there and lost 3 positions. Now he's fallen all the way back to the 6th position, I believe, which is definitely going to be much harder for him to try and race to the front of the field from this spot, as the other drivers just leave him to dry on the low side.
This top 7 has a pretty good gap from 8th place Spencer Dickinson. So I think at this point, Elliot Henderson is just going to hang out back there and wait for these guys' tires to fall off in front of him. Because these guys are still battling. This top 5, top 6 guys, they're still battling. They're still going for it.
And now we see Zachary Henry trying to make a move on Lewis Woodall for the 9th position. And just a few laps ago, we saw Lewis have a little moment off of turn 2 in the backstretch, and he was able to miss that big wreck because of it, and now he's running in the top 10.
Lewis putting on a pretty good run so far, has avoided disaster already a couple of times, this being this early in the race. But he's able to continue on and have a top 10 run. Good job from Lewis and a good debut so far from him. Bransky still trying to make that high lane work, trying to get past RJ Williams on the high side. Peeking up there. Wasn't able to quite get to his quarter panel that time. You're on board with the driver of the number 03 driving that Jeff Gordon throwback, I think that is.
It's a very nice looking Jeff Gordon DuPont paint scheme right there. American flag, flames. I mean, it's everything you want to be an American. It's a good looking scheme, and exactly, America. And we're looking to try and get that thing further towards the front.
Yeah, I'm assuming you chose that paint scheme because we have the holiday coming up this weekend.
I sure hope so.
Looks like we have Brandon on the inside of Ty Aiken there. Ty really tight on him in the corner here, but Ty might make that outside work onto the back stretch there.
Yeah, Ty Aiken looking good on the high side there, trying to stay in front of Barkowski. And right behind him, Elliot Henderson trying to get on the high side of Brandon as well. Nicholson sitting back there just watching all this happen. Battling through the quad oval, or the tri-oval. I don't know the proper term, quad oval, tri-oval. Always mix them up. The 25 and the 71 really going at it in 1 and 2. RJ Williams closing in on Bedford while this is happening, by the way. He's less than a car length behind him, right on his bumper heading into 3. Top 3 beginning to separate themselves from the rest of these guys. I'm gonna check the times at the line. We got Bedford with a 33.3. We got RJ with also a 33.3. Bransky with a 33.2, a little quicker than these guys. And everyone back there is running 33.4s and 33.5s. So those 4 back there are definitely dropping back from the top three as they're battling it out, and the top 3 have kind of singled it out and trying to put some distance.
Yeah, that's a big issue with battling here is when you start to get side by side like that, if you can't get the pass done quickly, something like this happens where the guys in front of you start to gap. That was a big issue with Pocono, where the draft is a bigger deal, and with the size of these spoilers, it's still a big deal here.
Yeah, and we're 30 laps into this fuel run, so the tires are definitely starting to play a factor here for some of these guys. We don't know who's been...
Well, it's a battle for the lead. I'm sorry to interrupt, but RJ Williams is on the inside of Phil Bedford. Oh, but he just couldn't get it done as Bransky comes around his outside looking to get it now.
With these guys battling like that, they've all of a sudden driven right back up. You see Ty Aiken and the Jeff Burton throwback. He's driven right back up on these guys. Bedford trying to put a little distance between Bransky and RJ as they battle. Oh, a little contact. Looks like RJ got into the door. Bransky heading into 1, but they both continue on. Great job by Bransky. Ty Aiken peaked low for a second there. No move from the number 71 machine. Still got a lot of racing left as we just passed 100 laps to go a few laps ago. Barkowski going to dive low on Aiken. RJ peeking low once again on Bedford. Oh, Bedford squeezed him going into the corner, and there was almost contact. Bransky trying to find space, trying to maybe make this 3 wide. He peeked in the middle for a millisecond, but he's going to follow Bedford on the high side in 3 and 4. And there's a caution on the speedway. I heard Matt Dangles on the radio. He might have been involved. Oh, Austin Moore.
Austin Moore involved, unfortunately.
Oh my gosh. He just cannot catch a break in the 91 machine. You hate to see it.
Well, as well, Josh Cottle was also caught up.
Whoa!
Oh, wow.
The number 9 machine of Jacob Hayes. That looked like it was personal. Wow. We're going to take a replay look here. Look at Austin Moore and Seth Harrelson here. And Austin Moore tries to avoid Cottle and just gets him in the quarter panel there. Maybe was expecting him to bounce off the wall a little differently there. Can take another look here.
Coming off of turn 2, it's looked like where the mistake came in from Matthew Daniels that caused the incident between him and Josh Cottle as we watched them coming through turns, going into turn 1.
You're looking at the number 5 machine of Matt Daniels right now, seeing where the incident came from here.
Looks like he just got up into the wall there and came down and collected Cottle. Yep.
Oh, man. Josh Cottle. Great qualifying position again this week, but very disappointing to see all that damage to the 31 machine this early. Interested to see if he'll be able to continue on from that. Yeah. And let's maybe take a look at the incident with the number 9. Austin Moore and the number 9 machine. I don't know what happened there. It looked like, yeah, he just ran him over. I'm not sure if that was personal or if he didn't see him. Very, very peculiar.
Would like to try and get an onboard from the 9 of Jacob Hayes. As I watched one of the replays, it seemed to look a little bit more in his favor from that perspective.
Here you are looking at Jacob Hayes' view from the number 9 machine.
Yeah, I mean, he did have some smoke that he really couldn't see through, it looks like, but yeah, that's just tough right there.
Yeah, sadly, he tried to turn it back up the racetrack after seeing Austin Moore come back down the banking and just lost front grip in the tires after running for so long on him and couldn't avoid him, sadly. So he'll be stuck in the pit lane for a good while, likely with a very heavily damaged engine from that incident.
While that was going on, while we're taking looks at the replay, all the leaders did come down for pit stops. There wasn't really too many changes in positions. Bedford was able to stay in the lead. Bransky's in second. RJ Williams is in third. Brandon Barkuski is in fourth, and then you have Ty Aiken in fifth.
One notable driver that has found his way back into the top 10 is Christopher Heller with his damaged race car. Has found his way in 8th place. Very heavily damaged rear end, yet he's still in a decent position at this point in the race.
Yeah, we're still very early on, so it'd be very interesting to see how Heller does up here with these guys. He has his teammate Nicholson right in front of him. So I'm definitely going to be looking at these guys and comparing them and seeing how much that damage, if at all, is affecting Christopher Heller in the number 11.
Well, typically with that much damage, especially on the spoiler and a little bit on the right front, he's definitely going to be slower. I don't think the draft is going to be what keeps him up with the pack, but at the same time, if he stays out of the incidents, then he can come away with a decent position here, as he took relatively minimal damage considering his position in that early wreck.
Yeah, great job by Heller, at least putting himself in the position right now. And we're going to see how much that damage will affect him. And Bedford did take the high side this time. Very interesting. We're going to see how that works out for him. He's going to start next to Bransky in the number 03. Pace cars, lights are out. They're going to go green flag racing this time by. Bedford's once again going to lead them down. He's led them down to every restart this time. Every restart this race. We're going to see how he does it this time.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Phil has led every lap of this race, has he not?
He has. Bedford has led every single lap. Very impressive performance from Bedford.
Yeah, he is putting on a show today.
Definitely needed it after the start of the season he's had, and the green flag is back out, and Brandon was ready. The number 25 machine was ready this time. Great restart from Barkuski on the high side, but Bransky's going to push low and try to clear him off of turn 2 and maybe make a run at Bedford going into 3.
Yeah, the low line will work on a restart for sure, and here comes Bransky looking on Phil, see if he can make anything happen there.
I feel like this is the best time to really make that move. Get yourself some clean air. RJ Williams peeking low on Bransky. Looking to take that second spot back. This whole second, third, fourth, fifth, been like a lazy Susan, just spinning around from driver to driver. These guys are coming up on Josh Cottle with a lot of damage, and the number 31 machine just trying to get as many points as possible. Watching Bransky on the high side of the number 21 of RJ Williams as they still battle it out for second. Bransky and RJ really going at it hard. He pushes up a little bit. Pushes Bransky up a lane on the entry. That's going to help him on the exit a little bit, it looks like. RJ's going to clear him off the corner. Good move from RJ Williams.
Yeah, he did not have much room there, but he cleared himself, and he got the second position here. You know, he's going to go try and take on Phil for the lead.
I don't think Bransky was too happy about that either. Tried to dive underneath him. It looked like going into 3 and 4. Wasn't quite able to get to him.
Now, Phil Bedford's in a very different situation from the last green flag run, as before he had Elliot Henderson in second place early on in the run, a driver who typically likes a long run. Now he's got RJ Williams, a driver who just seems to be making moves on people every single lap. This is going to put a lot more pressure on top of Phil Bedford to try and keep this lead.
Yeah, I'm definitely watching Williams and Bransky. They seem like the more aggressive drivers. But Elliott seems like he just has that raw speed. I feel like he's just waiting for that right moment. And then I wouldn't count out Barkuski or Nicholson as well, as they've looked strong early.
Well, that's something I feel Elliott has possibly learned throughout this race so far, as other drivers being much more aggressive than him have put him in bad positions, and he's lost a lot of track position because of it. So Henderson's going to be looking to try and be a little more aggressive and keep that track position so that he can make that charge late in the run.
Definitely some hard battling you're watching right here. Christopher Heller and Lewis Woodall going at it back here. Spencer Dickinson back there as well. Heller holding tough. Doing pretty well so far, holding in the top 10. Currently in the 8th position.
Yeah, Heller's definitely shocked me. I'm surprised he's still in this position with that much rear end damage. I was sure he was going to fall back a lot, but he's holding strong there in the back half of the top 10.
Races like this build champions. There is no playoffs here in the Cup Series. Christopher Heller comes into this race as the points leader. So he's out there for points, and he's trying to get as many points as possible with all that damage to the rear end. So great performance from our points leader as these guys are approaching Austin Moore quick. I couldn't tell where Austin Moore was there for a second. He blinked out.
Yeah, looks like he was on the apron there, out of these guys' way, letting them do their thing.
Great job by Austin to let these guys race it out. Bedford holding tough in the lead. RJ's right there. Bedford makes one little slip up. RJ's going to be right next to him, trying to clear him. We're going to send it out for a quick crank it up for you. Listen to these engines purr for a little bit before they start battling a little more hardcore. Okay, and we're back. We went to crank it up, and all of a sudden everything went crazy. You saw there RJ Williams and Bedford get together. RJ Williams I don't know how he was able to save that. That was amazing, and no accidents after that.
Yeah, that was just great car control right there. I don't know how they didn't clean out more drivers there.
So what it looked like to me on that initial view, Bransky tried to dive 3 wide, and RJ Williams might have felt a little pressured. Get the replay a little bit into the incident, but it looked like RJ Williams just kind of slid up into Bedford, just trying to make room for Bransky.
Yeah, he could have possibly been chasing the front end, trying to get some front end grip, and ended up getting into the left rear of Bedford. Luckily, not turning Bedford, but turning him instead. Which, not good for Williams, but great for Bedford as he retains the lead.
You see Bransky there really trying to make it 3 wide. RJ Williams shuts the door and really looking in his mirror, I think, more than forward. Just kind of slid up a little bit into Bedford. Happens a lot.
Kyle, it actually looks more like Bedford came down towards the banking, not realizing that that he was that high on the racetrack.
I'll have to take another look at that maybe later.
But RJ fell back to 10th place here. And we still have Bedford maintaining the lead over Ty Aiken now in 2nd place.
Ty Aiken, he's been running in the top 10 all day, been competing for a top 5 spot with those guys right before that last caution. And he's really picked up the pieces as he's moved into the 2nd spot in that Jeff Burton throwback. Bedford has led every lap. Great performance from the 20 machine. Great job keeping it straight after the contact with RJ Williams. I don't see really any damage to the number 20 machine. And Ty Aiken's getting closer and closer. He's getting closer. He's putting the thread on Bedford as he was a 10th quicker that last lap, but Bransky was 2/10 quicker, and Elliot Henderson was almost a half a second quicker than Bedford. Here comes Henderson. Watching these guys race through turns 3 and 4. Bedford still holding the lead tough. Bransky's getting a big threat from Henderson. That time by Bedford was the quickest out of these 4. Henderson putting the pressure on Bransky. But Bransky's taking away his line, so Henderson has to find somewhere to pass him. Bedford putting a couple car lengths between himself and Aiken as Bransky begins to put the pressure on Aiken. Might have a 3-way battle for 2nd here in a second. As the caution is out, never mind. I'll try to figure out what that caution was for there for you. Bedford, the leader at moment of caution.
Oh, it looks like it was RJ, guys.
Oh, man. RJ Williams. Things go from bad to worst. Came into this race 2nd in points. Last week's winner. RJ Williams in trouble here in Atlanta. RJ Williams pulls it onto pit road. We're going to take a look at the replay here. Oh, I don't know what happened there. Look, he got a little loose on entry, came back onto the track, and just didn't see who was coming up.
It looks like he got into Aaron Duclos there, and Duclos did hit the
wall.
Oh,
Nicholson!
Yeah.
I want to onboard with Nicholson. Oh my gosh, Nathan Nicholson barely making it past that accident.
Yeah, it looked as though on the backstretch that RJ had gotten in the wall and it shot him down the racetrack, and he was not able to slow down enough going into turn 3 and accidentally tagged I believe, who was that again? That was the
Aaron Duclos.
97 of Aaron Duclos, so unfortunate result for both of those drivers.
Looks like Zachary Henry might have hit Aaron Duclos in turn number 3 as Duclos was coming to a stop there.
I would like to mention new leader 71 Ty Aiken has beaten Phil Bedford off of pit road. Crazy, but great racing here today. We're gonna have a new leader for the first time today. as Ty Aiken is now your race leader, representing Canada.
We have a Canadian leader leading the race on Canada Day right here.
Oh, that would be just fitting, wouldn't it, Eric? That would be just great. I can see the storyline now. We're going to take a look at Nathan Nicholson's onboard. This is what I wanted to see because he barely avoided RJ and Duclos. I don't know how he got past both of them. You could put a paper between both of those cars. Insane. Nicholson keeps it going. Great job from him today as he's currently running in the 9th spot.
All right, now that Ty Aiken has taken the lead for the first time this race, Phil Bedford's going to be racing on the back foot, trying to get back to the lead. All day, he's been out front, clean air, blocking, and having the best grip you could have in the front end. Now he's going to have to be dealing with dirty air, loss of front grip, possibly getting slick. What we'll be looking to see is how he handles that now that he's lost the lead.
Yeah, he hasn't had to face dirty air all day, so it'd be very interesting to see how that 20 car handles that dirty air. Maybe he might fall back, might be a little bit more loose, a little bit more tight. Very interesting to see how he reacts to his car. And so I'm also interested to see which lane Ty Aiken picks, because I think we're going to get the one to go this time by. I think he's going to take the high side, but I could be wrong.
If I was a betting person, I'm betting Ty stays on the high side there. He's got his teammate, team owner Elliott in 4th place behind him. They can coordinate the start from 4th place there, and Elliott can give him a good push into turn number 1.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to stick up high, as you mentioned it. Elliott Henderson going to pull in right behind him. Going to possibly give him a good push on this restart, and maybe even try to leapfrog over Bedford, maybe try to clear him going into 1, the number 37 of Henderson. This should be a very good restart. Interested to see when the number 71 will go. Will he take a similar go time as the number 20?
I would like to bring up a small notable thing again. Because of the incidents with RJ Williams with Phil Bedford earlier in the race, Christopher Heller, our points leader, is actually in 6th place now. He's actually moved up since the last restart. So again, managing a day that started off terrible and managing a great position at this point in the race.
Heller looks good. He's going to restart in the 6th spot, as you mentioned, right on the high side of his teammate, Barkuski, right behind fellow Toyota driver, Elliott Henderson, and number 37 machine. As these guys are about to get going, green flag is out, and Aiken leads them down. Good restart from Aiken. Elliott Henderson not too far behind. Henderson's trying to get in front of Bedford, but he's not going to be able to clear him going into 1. Bedford comes up a little bit, not able to clear Henderson. Bransky's going to make it 3 wide for 2nd, it looks like. Bransky thought better of it, backed off, gave Bedford space.
And that's going to allow Barkuski to probably get around him for 4th position here.
And the Toyota is all up high. 4 Toyotas up high. Henderson's trying to clear Bedford, wasn't quite able to clear him off turn 4 that time by.
A name we have not mentioned here, we have Nick Martin in this lead pack in 7th position right now.
Very impressive performance from Nick, who also needs a very good run today after he also has had a very difficult start to the season. Been a very crazy start to the season. A lot of cautions, a lot of incidents.
It's just a really impressive run from the 2511 drivers. Like I was saying earlier in the intro, we got all 5 of them running in the top 8 or 9 positions here right now.
2511, always a fantastic race team. Expect them to always be competing for the win, as Nicholson's going to dive it under Bransky. Backs off a little bit. Was almost 3 wide coming through the turn. Nicholson's looked strong all day. Very impressive run from Heller as well. Heller's been able to hang tough with these guys. Hanging in there in the 6th spot.
Ooh, Nick Martin got a little bit loose off the corner
Oh,
in the wall a little bit.
great save from the number 42.
He'll have Drew Cox on the inside of him there, but looks like he might be able to hold him off on the outside.
And Barkuski looked like he overdrove 3 and almost slid up into Bransky and got on the brakes. And Spencer Dickinson cut him a huge break right there. Dickinson now going to try to complete the pass on Brandon, this time by. Good run off the corner for Dickinson, but not quite able to clear Barkuski. Dickinson and Barkuski really battling it out hard for the 5th spot.
Yeah, Spencer Dickinson having a bit of a quiet day today, as early in the race he fell back to the back half of the top 10 and just kind of hovered around there. But now, with the incidents from some of our leaders and cautions falling at the right time, he's now battling towards the front of the field again.
The top 4 have kind of checked out on these guys. Ty Aiken, Elliot Henderson, and Phil Bedford, and Jacob Bransky. They're all pretty much gone in their own zip code almost. But Barkuski and Heller and Nicholson are all trying to get back as they're battling behind them.
Well, they'll catch up in a quick second here as Bransky and Bedford are battling. As I've noticed, Bedford's been struggling a bit behind some of these other cars. He hasn't been able to keep the same pace as he was out front.
Yeah, Bedford's fallen back. He's back into the 4th spot. Might be also trying to save his tires. Expecting a long run. We haven't had a super long run all day. I think our longest run is around 20 laps. Still got half of this race to go as we just passed the halfway mark. We're on lap number 63 of 125.
Nathan Nicholson in that bright pink car trying to pass his team owner Brandon Barkuski on the inside in turn 3. Oh, they get a little close there.
Definitely some hard racing between teammates there. Battling it out for that 5th spot. These guys are letting that top 4 get away, though. They continue to pull away.
And look who else just popped into the top 10. Lewis Woodall just around the outside of Drew Cox there. He has made his way back into the top 10.
Very impressed with Nick Martin and Lewis right now. Nick Martin almost wrecked a couple laps ago, and he's driven right back to the front of this pack. And Lewis has been sideways about half the time today, and he's driven himself back up here as well. Looks like he's found the handling on that number 29 machine. Like you said, this is his debut. Might not be used to the A car as much.
Got some really hard racing back here beyond the top 4 positions here.
Oh, well, Phil Bedford just took a huge dive down the backstretch underneath Bransky. I mean, I thought he was almost about to spin out. He took such a hard left.
I saw that out of the corner of my eye. Bedford might be a little frustrated leading this whole race and struggling in that dirty air, trying to get back past Bransky and look at the top 2.
It seems like Elliot's just preying on the rear bumper of Ty Aiken, just making sure that he lets him know every single lap that he's there and he's not falling off at all. Again, Bedford underneath Bransky. I mean, he just keeps trying to get this pass done and just can't seem to do it. But this time he gets a good run off turn 4 and he's going to pull side by side with him down the front straight.
What I've noticed with the number 20 of Bedford, the last 2 times, he's kind of backed it down early into turn 1 and tried to get that huge run off of 2 and charges underneath them coming down the backstretch. But he's going to try to complete the pass on Bransky this time. He's really fighting hard on that inside. Bransky, in my opinion, has been the strongest guy on that high side so far today. Him and Elliott looked really strong on that high side. It's going to be really hard to get past the number 03. Not missing anything really in that battle for 4th. Battle for 5th. Nicholson and Barkuski still battling it out, but they've singled it out for the most part. Nick Martin right behind them as they're trying to drive down the top 4.
Christopher Heller, who was in the 6th position at the beginning of the restart, has fallen back to battling for about 10th right now. He was in 12th just a couple corners ago. He has come back a little bit, so it's possible he was saving tires. However, he has lost a lot of track position since the restart. Not sure if the damage is catching up to him or not, or if he was really just saving tires, but we'll see in another 10 laps if he gets up to the front. It's RJ Williams right behind them, took it 3 wide down into 3 and passed Seth Harrelson like it was nothing. Now he pulls up inside.
RJ trying to make a comeback here as he's a couple laps down, I'm pretty sure, in that number 21 machine. Hoping on a caution to get himself back into this race as he's been one of the strongest competitors all day long. And what I think might be going on with Heller, as you were saying, Alex, what I think might be going on with Heller, I don't think the damage is necessarily affecting his speed, but it possibly could be affecting his handling, which could therefore affect his tires. So his tires might be falling off a little earlier than some of these guys.
Yeah, that's something I've definitely noticed a lot when you get damage in this game. If it doesn't hit you in the engine, it'll hit you in the handling, and then you try and keep up with everybody and you kill your tires trying to do it. A little bit just before, there was a little bit of frustration on the radio from Phil Bedford to Bransky. He seems to be getting a little bit annoyed trying to pass him every lap. He just can't seem to do it. As again, he takes the low side, but just can't seem to get by him.
I don't think Bransky's really driving hard at all. I think he knows that Bedford can't really get past him on the inside, so he's trying to save his tires, let those top two drive away a little bit, and let Bedford just completely use up his tires trying to get past him, and hopefully Bransky can drive down Elliott and Aiken.
You know, right now it kind of looks like Elliott Henderson's just kind of pushing Aiken along, trying to get him that push, try and pull out the gap so that when he does eventually make the move later in this run, he's uncontested from behind. As again, Bedford, Bransky, they just keep going at it every lap, lap after lap. They're side by side. It just never ends. As
And
finally he clears them into one.
It looked like Bransky just kind of gave him the spot at that point. If I were Bransky, with the way Bedford began to drive those last few laps, I would definitely be worried about a significant slide job from Bedford. So I think Bransky, knowing that it's early in the race, still just past halfway, just give him the spot for now. He'll use up his tires and he can pass him later if it goes on a long green flag run.
Well, because of that battle, they've dropped off about 3/10 off the leaders that last lap, but with Bedford out front of this duo right here, we'll see the next time by if they gain a gap on the 2 leaders and see if Bedford actually has the tire advantage.
Yeah, I'm going to check the speeds at the line, because back there, Nicholson and Barkuski are driving similar lap times as the race leader, Ty Aiken. So they're definitely making up some time. Ty Aiken approaching a lap car here. We're going to check the lap times at the line here. Ty Aiken with the 33.19. Elliott Henderson a 33.25. Looks like you got Bedford with a 33.14. Bransky at a 33.3. And then Nicholson and Barkuski both in the 33.1s. So they're running similar lap times as the leaders. Aiken ran on a slow lap that last time by, but they're running very similar lap times to second place Elliott Henderson.
Something that was notable from that battle between Bedford and Bransky is that every lap you noticed Bedford was running the low side. A trend that I've noticed with these new dynamic tracks is that the high side does seem to burn the tires up more, but works good on a long run because you get to carry momentum. But if you can keep speed on that low side, you'll seem to be better off in the long run, as it looks to worked out for Bedford as he's gapping Bransky now.
Yeah, Bedford showing off a little bit of speed, trying to get away from Bransky. Have to be worried about his tires, though, as well, like I was mentioning earlier. He's been driving a lot on that low side. Heating up them tires, looking at our race leader, Ty Aiken, as he continues to lead. Has led ever since the restart, but Elliott Henderson has been right on his bumper the whole time, just waiting for Ty Aiken to make a mistake.
This
Very
has been a great run for Split Second Esports. They only have, I believe, 3 drivers in the race today. Austin Moore was taken out of the race earlier today, but look at the lead that the 2 split second drivers have right now over Phil Bedford in third place. It's been a pretty rough year for Split Second in the Cup Series and the Truck Series. They've got a couple second place finishes with Peter Akimano at Daytona and Elliott at Phoenix, but very little else to write home about this season. But they are running 1-2 right now.
definitely great performance from the split second guys. Elliot Henderson has looked very strong this season so far. Ty Aikens looked very good as well. Definitely faced some difficulties throughout the season so far, but a very strong run from the 71 bunch today, as he's been running in the top 10 all day and has been running in the top 5 for most of the day.
And they are pulling out a gap on Phil Bedford. Once he was able to clear Bransky, he was only about a second and a third behind, and now he's back to about a second and 8/10 behind. So he is actually falling back off of that lead duo.
Well,
Yeah,
drivers,
looks
I hate to interrupt, but we did have a moment on the backstretch with Lewis Woodall. He pulled another one of those moves like he did early in the race, coming off the backstretch wall and drifting it on the apron, this time not losing as many spots as he was battling with Christopher Heller there.
Haller and Lewis really going at it hard there. While you were talking there, Alex, I was looking over at the lap times. Bedford and Bransky have really fallen off, as they're around 3 to 4 tenths slower than our race leader per lap. But the guy that's really hit the NOS, hit the jets, is Barkuski. Barkuski is running considerably faster lap times than the race leader every lap. Last time he was 1/10 quicker than the leader. The lap before he was 2/10 quicker than the leader. So Brandon's coming. That number 25 machine is coming for 2511 Racing.
Well, this is an example of one of these drivers that sat back, lost track position, and just chilled on the tires. Didn't even bother trying to pass people, and guess what? It's paying off later in this run. As we've gone about 30 laps into this run, just under that, as the tires are really starting to struggle in this later half of the fuel run.
You're
And
watching.
Ty looks like he's put a little bit of distance on Elliott here.
Yeah, Ty Aiken has gapped Elliott the last couple of laps. Been running around a 10th quicker every lap the last 4 or 5 laps. Ty Aiken looking to get a victory today for Split Second Esports.
Well,
You
I
have
think
to
this is. I think this is partly a product of Ty Aiken having that clean air the whole time, and Elliott basically just running in his shadow. But as we're in a little bit of clean air here, let's go back to the incident I mentioned with Lewis Woodall, as he had struggles finding the replays. You see he came off turn 2, just drifted it down the backstretch, and again, a great save by him as he only loses a couple positions behind Heller and Cox.
Lewis has made some fantastic saves today. Like I was mentioning, and like Eric was mentioning, that it was his debut today. So I'm just not sure if he's quite used to this car. He might not have that much experience in the Cup car. I know that's usually my problem driving the Cup car.
Yeah, essentially the Cup car is just a truck with way more horsepower and a little bit more grip. So that's something these drivers have to get used to, as the power really makes it a throttle struggle at some of these tracks like Hot Atlanta, with a lot of drifting and a lot of struggling. As since the beginning of the race, the track temperature has actually gone up 6 degrees, which is only going to make the tires even worse than it was early on in the race.
Very interested to see when we're going to have pit stops, because if these guys pit right now, I think they can make it to the end of the race. So very interested to see who's going to be the first one on to take fresh tires, because right now these guys are running 2 full seconds slower than their quickest lap times. Ty Aiken's quickest lap time is a 31.4. Last time he ran a 33.4. So whoever comes on pit road and gets those 4 fresh tires could be sitting in a great position right about now.
Yeah, the drivers were last on pit road on lap number 52, I do believe, and they can make it to the distance now to the checkered flag. So, somebody might try and short pit and gain a few seconds on the track. That could be the difference between, winning the race and finishing in the top five. So, yeah, if somebody comes in now, they could definitely gap the field.
Because there's two different strategies I always hear. There's short pit and there's a long pit. Right now, if you pit right now, that's a short pit. But then some people might try to wait and wait and wait until they're almost out of gas, try to hope for a caution flag, or they're pitting late to get those fresh tires later in the run and pass all those guys who already took their tires way early in the run.
I think we only have about 8 or 9 laps left on this fuel run. So if you're going to short pit, you got to do it now. That's the way to get out in front of the field.
Is it's really
I'm personally predicting that these drivers are going to be pitting anywhere from lap 90 to 92, as that'll be splitting these runs about even on tires. As we see Spencer Dickinson on pit road, I believe.
Yep, he has been running just outside the top 10 all day, and he's going to be the first one to hit pit road here, get the fresh tires, and make up some ground on this short pit strategy.
that's my pick. Dickinson's my pick now.
Let's see if Spike can gain some ground here.
I'm really interested to see when one of these guys in the top 5 will come down pit road. Someone might like Elliott Henderson or maybe Phil Bedford. Bedford's led most of this race. Interested to see maybe he comes in and tries to get those fresh tires before everybody else.
If I'm Ty Aiken, I'm waiting until I have somebody else in that top 5 or 6 pit, because then I'm coming the next lap, because I do not want them to gap me.
The whole top 6 stays out that time by. Matt Daniels comes in.
Yep. Matt Daniels did just pit right there. Okay.
The number 5 machine of Matt Daniels making his pit stop. Last stop of the day, possibly, for the number 5 machine.
Lewis Woodall as well coming down pit road, and I kind of saw this one coming, especially after drifting it on the apron for the second time today. Might want to get a new set of tires and kind of reset his whole mentality here, as we hear Nick Martin is going to be coming down pit road as well.
Yeah, Nick Martin.
This is going to bring everybody else in. I mean, you cannot let these guys in the back half of the top 10 come in, get 2 to 3 seconds a lap on you, and you got to come in now.
I think this is the domino that makes the other ones fall, because I think I just heard Brandon on the radio, Brandon Barkuski, say that he's coming in this time. He's in third. He's in the 3rd spot right now, and right now I think he has the quickest car on the racetrack. So we're gonna see who comes down this time.
Ty and Elliott stay out.
Brandon comes down. Brandon's gonna get 4 fresh tires.
Well, like I mentioned, these drivers are going to be pitting around lap 90 to 92, and we're on lap 91 as Barkuski comes down pit road. We're going to be seeing, I imagine, everybody else coming down in the next lap or 2 laps.
Yeah, if you're the number 71, I feel like you have to come in this time, because Brandon's going to make up 2 seconds a lap, and I think before he came into pit road, he was around 2.5 seconds back, as Ty Aiken stays out again. Brandon's going to make up a lot of time here. The only thing that could hurt Brandon's strategy right now is if he either got a black flag or if a caution comes out.
Coming around turn 3. Let's see if they choose to pit this time.
Trying to find Barkuski on the track to maybe get a lap time for you guys.
They're coming in. Ty is coming in. Yep.
And Ty Aiken finally comes down. And he brings Elliott Henderson with him.
Looked like a good entry there.
Bedford stays out in the number 20. So Barkuski just passed these guys. Let's see if he can come back around and take away the race lead. His teammate Heller gets out of the way. Drew Cox right in front of him as well in the number 22.
Ty did beat Elliott off of pit road. Let's see where they shake out with Brandon here.
Yeah, Brandon's coming around. This is going to be close coming off of turn 2. Ty Aiken's just about to exit pit road, and Barkuski is driving fast.
I think Ty's going to get him here. I think Ty is going to maintain the lead. just barely.
Here he comes.
Oh, it is close. Brandon is going to get him actually on the outside.
Great strategy from Brandon. The strategy is going to put him in the lead, but he has 2 laps older tires than Aiken.
Well, here comes the strategy, Kyle. Block, 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 and more blocking. That's the only thing Barkuski can do right here to stay in the lead, because Aiken is coming as he's already sucked right
Yeah.
up to his bumper.
And 2 laps may sound like not a lot, but here at Atlanta, this is a lot of laps. I mean, 2 laps older tires will absolutely make a difference here at Atlanta.
Barkuski has to hold him off enough to those tires even out. I like a good block party, though, Alex, so this should be good.
If he could keep
Brandon.
him in his dirty air for long enough, he could try and slow down his lap times, heat up his tires, get him to use them up some more, and hopefully try and even it out at least a little bit.
And it looks like to me that possibly Christopher Heller might have taken a... Oh, no, he just came in. It looked like he just came into pit road. And the number 11 machine was hoping on a caution, it looked like.
Ty's
Yeah.
got to make sure to not burn his tires off here. He's got a big lead over Elliot Henderson in 3rd position here. A little bit newer tires than Brandon. He's just got to be smart.
Brandon's doing a good job of holding the lead right now. Gets a little bit loose off of 2. Really pushing that car hard. Elliot Henderson is hoping that Brandon can hold off Aiken as long as he can. Brandon Barkuski holding the race lead, a little over 25 laps to go here for the Great Lakes Cup Series, brought to you by Butt Kicker. I'd like to also mention that the cameras you see today are brought to you by Track Cams for Gourmets. That is Track Cams for Gourmets. Go to trackcams22.com for custom cameras. It's also brought to you by... Oh, dang. Oh, dang! Barkuski! Oh, and Ty Aiken is not happy with Brandon. Ty Aiken got walled there by Barkuski. Barkuski looked like he was driving it real hard, trying to hang on to that spot, and they're both trying to go for the same spot on the racetrack. Elliot Henderson has all of a sudden jumped into the battle. He has entered the conversation.
Yeah, this is best case scenario for Elliot Henderson, is now both of these drivers have damage. One of them's on older tires, the other one got put in the wall, and he's outside of Barkuski. He's gonna clear him going into turn 1. Elliot Henderson has now taken the lead after that incident between Barkuski and Aiken.
Ty is not going to be happy right now, but Elliot may have just been gifted a win if this stays green.
I don't know if it will, Eric, because you have Ty Aiken right behind Brandon, and he's closing. This could get interesting. Aiken's going to jump to the high side again. Aiken looks like he's going to try to clear him cleanly on the high side.
Brandon fights back on the inside.
And Brandon's washed up a little bit again, but this time he was able to get on the brakes. Those older tires just seem to be affecting Brandon early on in this run. Elliot's just pulling away from these guys. They're battling so hard. He's already over a second lead, or almost a second and a half now as we're talking. Henderson is just pulling away from Aiken, and Aiken has to be disappointed right now. Yeah, Aiken was almost a half second slower that last time by. Sorry to interrupt you, Alex, but a little more than a half second slower.
Yeah, no, you hate to see that for a driver like Aiken. I mean, he took the position, he did everything he could. Barkuski said over the radio that he just got tight, but afterwards he said, you gotta calm down. And I mean, for Aiken, you're not gonna calm down. I mean, you had a shot at the win easily, and to get put in the wall even by a mistake is ultimately extremely frustrating, especially since now the damage is definitely slowing him down, as Henderson built this gap almost to 2 seconds.
Try to get you a replay on the incident between Aiken and Barkuski. that put Aiken so far back of Henderson, and he's considerably losing a lot of time each lap because of the damage he has. Interested to see if he can even hang on to the second spot as Bedford and Bransky are driving these guys down.
Yeah, we'll look to try and possibly get an onboard from Barkuski's point of view and see what was happening inside the car that got him up in Aiken.
Aiken, very disappointing. Had a win possibly in his hands, and he's losing around a half a second a lap to Elliot Henderson now. And now he's just trying to hold on for a top 5 as we have just over 20 laps to go here at Atlanta. Looking at Lewis Woodall, who's had a very, very eventful day in the number 29 machine. He's trying to get himself into the top 10, currently sitting in the 11th spot. Pretty good debut from Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis Woodall's been a story all day. I mean, between his crazy saves, battling with some of these great guys, and the mid to back half of the top 10, I mean, he's been having a very interesting day indeed, and sitting in 11th place now, kind of in his own little bubble there. I think he'll have a decent result today. But another driver with, again, I just keep pointing him out because how surprising it is that he's still up here, is Christopher Heller in 10th place right now. He could nab a top 10 with all the damage that he has. I'm just baffled that he's able to keep it like that.
Yeah, Heller's running pretty good lap times too. He's running faster lap times than most of the drivers in front of him right now. So definitely a very good performance from Heller as he did take over the 9th spot from Harrelson last time by. Just trying to get as many spots and points as he can. Points leader coming into today. And then number 20 of Bedford looking to make a move on Brandon Barkuski for 3rd. Bedford has really been driving these guys down because of their damage. Interested to see how much room Brandon might give him. He's just going to move all the way to the top, give him the whole track.
Yeah, those guys are teammates. Brandon, had quite a few laps older tires, so he was probably just going to take the easy route and let Phil go. Phil might get second here from Ty if Ty can't hold on to it here.
Bransky's coming up too. Bransky's not too far back.
Something that's notable about Bedford's charge here is that he actually has gained about a second on Henderson. As
Caution!
a caution is out.
Oh, damn, this changes everything. Elliot Henderson had this in the bag, and now there's a caution. Sorry to interrupt you.
Looks like it was Seth Harrelson, maybe.
Oh my gosh, this is craziness. Everybody tweet. Everybody tweet now. This is gonna get crazy.
Yeah, hearing that it's between RJ Williams and Seth Harrelson, the incident.
Oh wow. Lewis
Okay.
Woodall just missed that. Look at that on board with Lewis if we can get a look at that.
I was only able to see part of the accident from that angle, but there it is. It looked like to me that Harrelson just kind of turned down.
Yep.
Not sure if he thought he was clear or maybe if it was something personal. Not quite sure what happened there.
Well, similar to what happened to RJ earlier in the race, it seemed like Harrelson this time was the one that got bounced off the wall a little bit and kind of came down, and RJ was there.
Well, this is going to change everything because we still have about 15 to go when the green flag is going to come out. If they've got tires, they're going to come in and get them here.
Maybe 2 tires?
That's usually not a strategy you want to play here at Atlanta, but yep, here they come. They're coming into the pits.
So 2 tires. Leaders come down pit road. This is the money stop right here. If you remember last time by, the reason that Ty Aiken had the lead from Bedford was because he beat him on pit road. Let's see if he can do it again. But I think he's actually just going to get those repairs, actually. We're going to see who gets off pit road first. See if maybe anybody takes 2 tires, as we don't have very many laps to go. Elliot's going to get off first.
Something notable to look at is Ty Aiken drastically missed his box, had to readjust about 5 or 6 times before he finally got it to start having a pit stop.
Doesn't much matter, I think, for Ty. I think Ty was going to get the repairs either way because he was going to be considerably slower than those guys on the upcoming restart. So we'll see how much he gets repaired and seeing if he can even stay on the lead lap as the pace car is approaching. Lewis. I'm getting news that the Pepsi car, the Pepsi machine, Lewis Woodall has stayed out. Wow.
This is going to be big on the restart if he does not bring it down pit road.
I don't know about this call. I don't like this. This is Atlanta, mind you. I'd be kind of okay if, say, it was maybe Kansas, maybe, I don't know, maybe Texas, but Atlanta? Oof.
This should be crazy. You're mentioning, Alex, Lewis was the story of the night so far, and I think he continues to be that as he's leading his first laps right now under caution. We're going to go green right before a little more than 10 laps to go. Old tires on Lewis. I don't think he can get the victory, but I think he's just trying to get the best position he can get as he was 11th when that caution came out.
Well, if the strategy is to get TV broadcast time, he's getting a lot of it right now as he's had 2 saves, he's had interesting fights, and now he's stayed out after a long run and will probably cause chaos on this restart as everybody desperately tries to get around him.
Well, and maybe he's playing the strategy call, guys. I mean, if this goes back to green and goes 10 laps and we get a caution, he may be the only one with a set of tires in the pits.
Very good point, Eric. But at that point, I don't know if he would have enough time to really make up the spots that he would like to.
Well, there are only about 13 drivers on the lead lap currently, so if that were to happen, he would not be that far back in the field. But actually, considering where he was in 11th place, if that strategy does play out right, he could actually get a net gain from this.
Very possible. Very interesting strategy from Lewis.
Yeah,
The only way...
Lewis
Nope.
was running 9th to 11th most of the nights or most of the day here. So, you know, if he is able to catch a caution and come back with only 13 cars in the lead lap, he does have a chance to move up in the standings there.
The only way he's going to be able to get himself a top 5 or a top 10 is if he does something different. And that's what he's doing. He's doing something different. Everybody else came down and took 4 fresh tires. Lewis stayed out and took no tires. So this should get very interesting as the lights are out on the pace car. They're going to go green flag this time by as the enter turns 3 and 4. Lewis picked the inside.
Also have to worry about tire spin on old tires here, so that's something to watch on the restart.
Great point, Eric. I forgot all about that. That happens all the time in official races on iRacing. Drivers stay out on old tires and spin their tires on the restart and spin it out or hold up a bunch of guys. So we're going to see what happens here with the number 29. Pace car pulls off, and Lewis trying to spin his tires a little bit, and there he goes, and he spins them.
He did spin them.
Bedford jumps to his high side, and Lewis is going to lose that spot immediately. And Bedford's trying to get back to the lead, the driver that has led the most laps today.
Elliott's got the lead here.
Elliott Henderson has around a half a car length lead heading into turns 3 and 4. Bedford's right there. It's 3 wide heading into 3 and 4. 4 wide. Oh my gosh. 4 wide still. They're splitting. Lewis.
And they all made it through.
Impressive racing. Someone clip that. That was impressive. Impressive racing. I don't know how they did that. These guys are still racing hard up there for the 4th spot. A driver we haven't mentioned all day in 5th. Drew Cox. Where has he been all day? Drew Cox putting pressure on Brandon. And he looks like he has a lot of speed here late.
Well, gladly, these drivers don't really have to care too much about the tire, whereas with a 10-lap stint that they've got to run, it's go, go, go. Get as much as you can while you can.
Cue that Jaws music, but here comes Heller. Christopher Heller trying to take 6th from Nicholson on the outside. Heller looking strong on this last run.
they had done a little bit of crisscross as earlier Heller was the one that took it 3 wide, which turned to 4 wide, and he had made his way up to 6. Then Nicholson dove below him, and now he finally wins out into 6 and see if he can catch up to this front pack. Again, a damaged car. How is he keeping up with the pack?
He is the points leader. Christopher Heller is a winner. He is doing great today. Fantastic performance from that 11 bunch. The top 5 has a little bit of a gap on Heller in 6th. Bedford's trying to close down Henderson as we have a little under 10 to go, approaching 8 to go this time by here at Atlanta. You're watching Bedford, that number 20 machine. He's been the dominant car today. He's led the most laps. And he's trying to steal that lead from Henderson after Henderson had taken the lead from Ty after his incident with Barkuski. Look at Nick Martin, a feel-good story in the number 42 machine. Very good run from him. He's trying to get past our points leader, Christopher Heller, for the 6th spot. These guys are all lined up. They're all together. We have 8 guys. 8 guys going after it right now. See who's going to come home with the checkered flag. Elliot Henderson is your race leader with 7 laps to go. Phil Bedford right behind him. Jacob Bransky in 4th. Brandon Barkuski in 4th. And Drew Cox in 5th.
Yeah, Barkuski keeping up well after the incident with Aiken. I thought he might have had some pretty decent damage because of that, but he seems to not have too much as he's pretty easily keeping up with these front 3 cars. He was strong after that pit stop, staying out front for as long as he did. I mean, maybe he can nab the win here if anything happens to Henderson, but Henderson right now just seems to be too strong as Bransky takes it to the outside of Bedford.
And Elliot Henderson loves to see this as he approaches 5 to go. There's a battle for second. Elliot Henderson put around a car length between himself and Bedford coming off the corner. Bedford not giving up as he puts a little bit of distance himself between Barkuski and Bransky as they begin to battle it out for the 3rd spot. Barkuski really trying to get past Bransky right now as he has a lot of speed here late. He's trying to get up there to Bedford and Henderson. Henderson slid a little bit off of 4. Bad exit for Henderson, and Bedford's going to really close him down the front stretch. And Bedford's going to dive underneath him into 1 as he had a huge run. Possibly a very costly mistake from Henderson off of 4 as he slid up last time by, opening the door for Bedford. Bransky's going to try to follow him through.
It's one of these classic Atlanta finishes.
They're battling it out hard, approaching 3 to go. Henderson versus Bedford. You have Bransky and Barkuski right there too.
Bringing Christopher Heller and the damaged race cars in the top 5.
Oh my goodness. And they almost got together. That was close. Bedford and Elliot Henderson. Bedford apologizes over the radio. And maybe Henderson could check out at this point as Bransky and Bedford battled out a little bit for second. Bransky clears him. 2 laps to go in Atlanta. Henderson leads. Bransky right there. Bransky's trying to make up the time. The number 03 in that Jeff Gordon throwback. Oh, he's in the wall. He just drove it a little too hard off the corner and gets the wall, and Bedford takes second back. Let's see if they can make it to the white flag. Elliot Henderson coming off of turn 4. Will he grab the white flag? Yes, he will. White flag is in the air here at Atlanta. Elliot Henderson looking to get the job done, looking to get his first win of the season in the number 37 machine. Elliot Henderson, split second broadcasting partner, leading the field by a couple of car lengths coming into turn 3. Bedford right there. Bransky making a move for 3rd. And Elliot Henderson will win in Atlanta. great race. You see Ty Aiken come across the line in 9th. You have to feel for him. Might have been in victory lane if it wasn't because of his incident with Brandon Barkuski.
And somebody else side by side at the line, Christopher Heller takes 5th place from Nathan Nicholson, just barely, with that mangled rear end of a race car.
Awesome race from Heller. Very impressed by his job there today. I can't believe it. Great job from him. You're going to see Elliot Henderson go out there and do some donuts. We're hoping to speak with our top 3 finishers and maybe even a couple other guys here in a few moments. But for now, you're going to watch that 37 burn it down. Elliot Henderson wins the Atlanta 125. That was a great race. That was a lot of fun out there. Elliot having a lot of fun. And I'm going to send it down to Alex, our interview extraordinaire, who is with our 3rd place finisher, Brandon.
Brandon Barkuski, 3rd place finish after a gutsy short pit on the leaders after that long run to take the lead. A little bit of an incident with Ty Aiken, but kept it in the field, kept it running, and took a top 3 at the end after Jacob Bransky's mistake. What was the story today, Brandon?
Yeah, I guess just going off of that. Geez, I don't know what's been going on, but the racing gods have just been pulling me into cars. I think last week I got in the corner a little bit too hot and sent Merrick, and that was a mistake. I talked it out with him a lot and apologized to him. And I don't know what happened with Ty. He kind of like entered outside later in the corner, and my car just kind of went up the hill. It was like really weird, and I tried telling him it was a mistake. You know, it hurts me. I lose a bonus point for an X, so I think he thinks that I did it intentionally, and I think that's kind of the vibe a lot of these people are getting this year is that I just go out and wreck people. But I don't know. I had like I think the highest average finish last year and second most top fives and missed a race. So I don't really know if that's how you. That's not really how you run well. So I hope that reputation of myself kind of goes away. Just been some really weird moments, but I'll take a 3rd place though any day. We needed the top 5 and. Looks like RJ had a bad day, so I guess I'll be 2nd in points behind Heller, who's just pulling on the field right now. So, yeah, overall good, but can be better still. We just got to keep working on it. I don't think we've raced to our highest potential yet, but only being back like 20 points, that's a big margin, but I still think we can be better, so that's a positive. So we're happy to be where we're at.
Yeah, it's definitely a strong performance from you. You were out front all day and seemed to be a very strong driver in the series. Heller just, like you said, I mean, I don't even know what he's doing. It got some magic. We'll talk to him in a little while after you guys. But is there anybody you want to thank for this finish?
I mean, I think everybody just at my team, 25-11, it's myself and Chris owning the team, and it's Phil and Nathan Nicholson, and then Nick Martin. I mean, top 8, everybody. So extended our team points lead, and it's a team first aspects, and we're practicing a lot together. So I think that's the real big positive about it. I think a lot of those guys, everybody puts in time to work. We put up a couple practices a week, and it's clearly showing. So every single one of those guys busts their butts, and it's definitely showing. And thanks to you guys as well. You guys are doing a fantastic job. Obviously, just being new with all this, and it's really been enjoyable to go back and watch them with everything going on. But thank you guys.
No, thank you. It was very fun being in the booth today rather than on pit road running around and getting exhausted. So, nice to have you, Barkuski. Maybe some other time I'll be up here to talk and also interview. And congrats, and maybe we'll talk to you again next week if you keep doing well.
I hope so. Thank you guys.
All right, we'll drag in our 2nd place finisher here, Phil Bedford. Hello, Phil. Strong race today, especially early on, dominating the early part of this race. Ty Aiken got around you on the pit stops. You kind of fell back a little bit, but you look strong in the long run. Caution comes out. Did you think that was your opportunity to come nab the win?
No, because you can't pass on this track. That's why I was hoping to stay out front the whole time, but it was fun. I almost got Elliott there, but it's just you get so arrow tight when you're under a car that you have to back up every time. So whatever.
That was something I brought up a lot today, was that 30 air, clean air. Elliott for a while was hanging with Aiken at the front of the field, you know, it pulls out. I mean, were you trying to do that to the cars behind you when you were out front? Try and purposefully get in their nose and block them air-wise?
No, I was just trying to hit my lines. I didn't really worry about the other cars too much. Yeah, I just got raced a little hard there towards the end and made me lose the leaders a little bit. And then that caution came out, and I was hoping to regain. I did regain one spot under caution, but that previous one, I don't know what happened, but my pit crew was slow.
Yeah, that was definitely a defining moment of the race. It took you out of the lead, and obviously we saw you drop back a couple positions after that. I mean, what was the thought process after that? I mean, how do you recover from that and try and get back to the lead?
You just be patient and let them make a mistake, which is how I got back to second. And I almost got Elliott because he pushed. I made a mistake, but it just wasn't enough.
That was definitely close there at the finish. We watched you side-by-side battle in there. Is there anybody you like to thank for a very strong day today and a nice second-place finish?
Yeah, I got to thank my wife. She always takes care of the kids so that I can race uninterrupted. And then Chris Heller made this paint scheme for me. It's his first race with it. It's brought good luck so far, I guess. And you guys do a good job in the booth, so I appreciate that.
Get so much praise week by week. It's flattering. Thank you so much.
I mean, I could be the other way and say you guys suck and you need to get better.
All right, get him out of here. Thank you, Phil. We appreciate you, and again, maybe we'll talk to you next week if you keep acting like this.
Thanks, guys.
And then, of course, our winner of the race, Elliott Henderson. Elliott, congratulations, you nabbed the win today. Really strong there at the end of the race. I want to ask you one big question.
Yep.
You were right behind the incident with Barkuski and Ty Aiken. What was that from your point of view?
I mean, you could spin it 100 different ways, I think, but at the end of the day, we know that these cars get really aero tight, and that's what everybody on the bottom was dealing with. I mean, I played Phil at the end there, just getting down on his quarter panel, and you know he could drive it in as hard as he wanted, but you couldn't throttle back up if that car was here outside playing you. So Barkuski missed the bottom, sure, but Ty got to him at the awkward point of the corner that probably did pull Barkuski up into him. So, you know, Ty will say it happened one way, Barkuski will say the other way, but I think Barkuski's probably right that the car got pulled up into Ty, and it sucks because I mean, we played that strategy perfect, all the way down to the pit stop and everything. Ty was worried. He's like, I haven't pit on the green yet. I'm like, just do you. Do it nice and easy. Just make your way in. I gave him a second gap so that he could play with that, and we had a 2-second gap on Barkuski at that point. So we played it picture perfect, and unfortunately, you know, I told him you got to hit the go button at some point because the more you sit behind someone, the worse you kill your tires. So he hit the go button, and unfortunately, when he hit the go button, Barkuski's car hit the I'm gonna slide right button, I guess. So yeah, it is what it is. It's racing. Definitely sucks for Ty because he probably had to win there if that incident didn't happen.
Yeah, that was definitely a changing point in the race. It pretty easily gave you the lead and gave you a massive gap on the field, but it wasn't without struggles though, as the caution had come out when you had this massive gap on the field, 4 seconds over second place. And then on the restart, in the run a little bit, you make a mistake and Bedford comes right up beside you. I mean, what was through your mind in that moment?
I think I got antsy that Bransky caught the wall there, and I was like, oh, this is, or actually, that was before Bransky even got to the wall. These cars are so on edge as far as being tight, and I expected a loose setup. I'll be honest, I did not like what this setup provided at all tonight. But it is what it is. So basically, I just got really tight there, and when that happened, it gave Phil a really solid chance to get to the inside. But like I said, if you could just pinch someone off to the inside, like there's virtually no chance that they're going to be able to get around you or mount a run enough to stay in front of you. So, yeah, it was a worrisome moment. And then Phil made a little bit of, I don't know if there was contact. I never got contact on my screen. I think Phil said there was contact, but I know Phil races as clean as possible. I wasn't trying to do something like that, but I also wasn't giving him as much room as I possibly could have until corner exit for obvious reasons. So these things always come down to that. I've lost so many races, especially at this track specifically in both trucks and cup, just through these yellows that happened with 10, 12 laps to go. But luckily, everyone kept it clean this time. Lewis didn't do anything dumb on the restart, and it stayed green. So luckily that clean air, I think, saved us, because I don't know that we had the speed otherwise, but clean air was definitely king tonight.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it. The leader seemed to have a big advantage, and unlike last week, we had a relatively caution-free. I mean, few cautions here and there, but compared to 15, that's a lot better. So, is there anybody you like to thank for good race and a great finish?
Yeah, first of all, thanks to this field. We're done around, 9:30 is when I looked at my clock and I was doing burnouts. So that's phenomenal compared to some of the events that we've run recently. So that's awesome that we got it done that quick. As shout out to you guys in the broadcast booth, always really excited to be able to go back, watch this, hear your points of view, and get to rewatch the race, see Ty up front, and see everything happen over again. Shout out to Ty, shout out to Austin. They both made it out tonight, teammates, part of Split Second Esports. Unfortunately, Pete and Kyle Hall weren't here tonight. But Ty did a phenomenal job. Austin obviously got messed up early on there, so I ended up a few laps down. Not much he could do there, and his internet was giving him issues as always too. So, I just huge shout out to Ty, man. Like, I feel bad because that did get kind of stripped from him at the end of it. Who knows what would have happened with that yellow? It may have been even worse for me if both of us had to restart up at the front there, but it seemed to work out in my favor pretty well. But shout out to him. Shout out to all the guys that make these cars fast. Heller and Barkowski that put this league on, because this series is a ton of fun. Sam and Eric, who put on the support for the rest of the Great Lakes group. This series is a ton of fun, and we have clean races like this. It's really cool watching people come up and through the pack. So looking forward to next week. I don't even know. I think it's a next gen car at like Kentucky or something, but we'll see what we can do. And yeah, just thanks to everyone that makes us go around.
The next gen is definitely a very interesting car. All right. Thank you, Elliot, for that one. You always have a lot to say, and we appreciate it. So, good job on the finish, and maybe you'll nab another one next week, or who knows?
Yeah, there's no shortage of breath. We're gonna just try to keep the win count over RJ's count right now. I think we're just gonna go back and forth here, but we'll see. We started this season off shaky, but we'll see where we end up by the end of it. It'll be fun.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Now, we talked a little bit about the incident between Barkowski and Ty Aiken. Let's try and get the other perspective of that. Ty Aiken, you were there at the end of the race. You were at the long run. You pulled the pit strategy. You nailed pit road. You were on his bumper. You made the move, and then both of you came up, got into the wall. What's the thoughts on that?
I don't really have much to say about that. I mean, he's like he even said he's been having issues with getting into cars these last couple weeks. So I don't know. I passed him on the outside in way longer runs, and he never did anything like that. I don't know. And there was nobody in front of us. I don't know. I mean, Elliot helped me through that a lot, but I don't know. We just couldn't finish it.
Yeah, we heard from Barkowski's perspective him talk about a lot about the car just kind of losing it, pushing up, getting arrow tight, and well, that seemed to be what happened between the two of you. From Elliot's perspective, he mentioned that it was kind of an awkward spot in the corner where you caught him. I mean, is there anything you would have done different in that situation, try and avoid that?
I mean, no, I had fresher tires by 2 laps. I ran behind him for a couple laps, waited for him to, maybe burn his stuff up a bit, and I was trying to keep on him. And then he lifted way early and went low in 3 and 4, and I stayed in it a little longer, got to the outside of him, and then I saw him coming up. I kind of went up a bit, and then he kept coming up. I mean, at that point, I figured he would have realized he was coming up and maybe let out of it or something, but he didn't. I don't even think he tried.
Yeah, we heard the words over the radio, frustration, and the retort from Burkuski. I'm sure that must have irked you for the rest of the race, but you still managed a top 10. You got a 9th place finish, so good recovery there, even if it wasn't a win, wasn't a top 3, but you're still here getting talked about because you had a good day and you still got a top 10, so congrats.
Thank you.
Now, before we drag you out, just got anybody to thank? Because we got to do this with everybody.
You know, I think the only person I really got to thank for tonight is Elliot. He walked me through every step I needed to do, and we did it correctly. But like I said, it didn't work out for us.
All right, that's what you love to hear. Teammates, they're always good friends. So thank you very much, Ty. We'll have to come bring in our last interviewer here. So glad to talk to you about that.
All right, thank you.
All right. And personally, for me, one of the most interesting stories of the day here with Chris Heller. I mean, you got caught up in that incident right at the beginning of the race. I mean, you had enough damage that it looked like somebody crumpled up a piece of aluminum foil and attached it to the back of your car, and yet somehow you end up with a 5th place finish, 7 thousandths ahead of Nathan Nicholson. How'd you do it?
Well, uh, I honestly have no idea. I just dug deep and went as hard as I possibly could those last however many laps we had. And it somehow worked.
Now, we heard from Elliot, he mentioned that the car was pretty tight. Now, typically what I see with rear end damage is it'll usually make the car looser. Did you have that kind of condition with you after that incident?
Not really. I was pretty tight. I cranked the brake bias down, so when I was braking into turn 3, I just would help the car to rotate a little bit through the corner there. That's where I was having the most trouble. I was a little bit more free off of 2 most of the night, but I think everybody was. But turn 3 and 4 was just brutal. It was hard to get to the bottom, and somehow, some way, I guess I got to 5th.
Even some of the greatest drivers just don't even know what they're doing, and yet somehow it works. I mean, you're the points leader going into this event, and after that incident at the start of the race, I was personally convinced that your day was basically done, even though you were an 8th on one of the first restarts following that. And yet somehow you subverted my expectations and you stayed up in the pack for almost the entire race, seeming to have some really good long run pace. I mean, what was the strategy on the long run to just catch up and pass people even with that car?
So, alright, so let's go back to the lap 6 incident. So, when I came down pit road, I was like, man, I didn't really hit anything really hard. Like, no car, like, really slammed into me. And when I got into the box, I unchecked my tires and stuff on that first pit stop. And I only had 40 seconds of damage, so I just went ahead and fixed it all up under that one yellow flag lap that I had to fix my damage, and got back up to the field. And I noticed that the outside was a little bit easier to pass, so like anytime someone was kind of going to the bottom, I would try to scare them into taking the bottom so I could take the outside. So that's kind of what I was doing to make my passes, but yeah, it was just daggum impossible to pass on the bottom. So, but I mean, that's basically it. I was saving the tires in the beginning and then running them hard the last however many laps we had in a run.
Yeah, it was definitely an impressive performance, and I believe with this finish you should retain the points lead as RJ Williams struggled today with a couple strong incidents. So congrats on that. Is there anybody you like to thank with this stellar performance?
So it's not so much thank, it's more so congratulations to the whole 2511 team. We had Phil Bedford finish 2nd, Brandon Barkowski finished 3rd, I finished 5th, Nicholson finished 6th, and Nick Martin finished 8th. I mean, we all finished in the top 10 tonight. I'm extremely proud of that. I wish Phil could have gotten the win tonight, but I mean, Elliott's, he's fast and he's kind of a, he's kind of a driver for 2511 for the truck. So if anyone other than a 2511 driver could win, I guess Elliott would be one of those guys. But anyways, I want to thank my parents for watching, of course, you guys for the broadcast, and yeah, that'd be it.
All right. Well, you got the interview today because you did what I believed was going to be impossible. Next time, get the interview because you get a top 3. All right, let's get that done.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my first 3 races were top 3, so this is my worst finish of the year. So, nothing wrong with that.
Well, that's why you're the points leader. So good
Yep.
job, and thank
Yep,
you
thank
for
you.
coming into the booth.
Yep, thank you.
All right, Kyle, it's time to wrap up the show with a very interesting race today.
Yeah, great race and a great performance from Elliott Henderson, able to get the job done at the end. Phil Bedford ended up leading the most laps today with 53 led laps. And you heard Christopher Heller mention there, he was able to keep up that top 5 streak that he has going on here in the Great Lakes Cup Series, brought to you by Butt Kicker. 4 top 5s to start off the season and the points lead. Let me give you the top 10 rundown before we head out. Elliott Henderson is your winner. Phil Bedford, second. Brandon Barkuski, third. Jacob Bransky, fourth. Christopher Heller in fifth. Nathan Nicholson in sixth. Drew Cox in seventh. Nick Martin in eighth. Ty Aiken in ninth. And Spencer Dickinson in 10th. And next week, we will head to Kentucky for one of the 4 races of the season in the next gen car, 125 laps. Should be a lot of fun. And then on Tuesday for the trucks, we head over to Homestead, Miami. Same time for both of those events. Happy 4th of July to y'all, because we won't be seeing you guys until after 4th of July. And then happy Canada Day for the Canadians in the audience. Anything you guys want to say before we head out?
I just had a good time with you guys tonight. Thanks for having me up here, and I hope that I can do it again sometime.
It was nice having you, Eric. It was good stuff. There's a lot of storylines that came out of this race today and a lot of interesting events. So let's see if that continues throughout the season.
And I will definitely see you guys on Tuesday night. And I won't be in a pink truck. I'll be in a white truck on Tuesday.
Man.
There'll be pink on it. There'll be pink on it, but
Mr. Pink.
But it will be a white truck with some pink accents. Night races, I prefer to run a white truck.
That sounds like it'll be a pretty cool looking paint scheme. We'll be cheering you on from the booth at Homestead, Miami. Should be a lot of fun. Great debut today, Eric. Great having you in the booth. We're going to wrap it up here today, and we will see you on Tuesday for the trucks at Homestead, or next week at Kentucky in the next gen cars for the Cup Series. Once again, congratulations to Elliott Henderson. Good night, everybody, and we'll see you next week.